Unlike Big Uncle Buck here, if you want to warm up your ground bean roasted drip coffee from the coffee machine, sometimes those coffee machines take forever to heat up your coffee. So if you want to save some time, do this. Heat your coffee right on the stove. I was worried at the first time, thinking that the glass would break, the glass would crack. So far, the glass is not cracking yet. We just made coffee from the coffee machine, ground bean roasted drip coffee from the coffee machine. So we got our coffee. It's hot, all ready to go. So that's too high. So you should never turn it higher than 2. So that's where you should keep it at. But I'm just going to turn it off. It doesn't need to be on. So it doesn't seem to harm the, whatever you call this thing. It won't harm it. You know, you can heat your real ground bean coffee on your stove from the coffee machine, because these elements here only get up to a certain temperature. I find that it's not hot enough for coffee. So if you want your coffee to be as hot as Tim Hortons coffee, this is what you do. You put it on your stove. And normally, you know, with the burner, don't go higher than medium. Like medium heat should be good for that. Or even 1 or 2 a minimum. So those coffee machines, they put out the heat to about to a minimum. But I think 1's good here. Maybe even 2. But I wouldn't go higher than medium. So it's fine. You can do this. You can picture your glass. You can put whatever it's called. You can put it on your small stove element. And it's okay to do it on low heat. So if you do it on low heat, it's fine. I actually put it on high heat for a couple of minutes. I was worried that the glass would crack, but it didn't. So this just gets your coffee to be extra hotter than the coffee machine. It's always weird because when I first turned the coffee machine on to brawl coffee, roasted coffee beans, I use a grinder to grind my beans into coffee. So when you first turn the coffee machine on, it's extra hotter. But if you turn the coffee machine off and then turn it back on, turn the coffee machine on back. If you turn the coffee machine back on within 1 hour later, for some reason, it takes at least a half an hour for this to get up to temperature. If you want to save amount of time, just put your kettle, well, they don't call it a kettle, but whatever it's called, put it on the stove element and you can heat it up, you know, and just keep her at, you know, on low heat too. Don't go higher than medium, but I turn it on max for a couple of minutes. But if you want your coffee to stay hot on the stove, you don't need it any higher than 1 or minimum. But when you first put your coffee on the stove and you want to give her a high heat, but if you're worried that the glass is going to break, don't go higher than medium. So no higher than 3 or medium heat on the stove and you'll be okay. And because these things are already on a hot element anyways. But this is not really meant A glass coffee thing is not meant to handle high heat on a high heat element because there's a good chance that your glass could break, so you have to be careful. But if you don't go higher than 3 or medium heat, you're okay. And I would just turn it back to 2 or even 1. Keep it at 1 and you're good. The coffee's already hot, so I'm gonna turn it off. Coffee's hot, see? She's steaming. If I open that up, watch. I'm a little sea bugger here. I'm a little sea bugger dude. Cool. Look at that ground bean coffee roasting. Oh yeah. You can do this. It's fine. And you can always order an extra one of these on Amazon, like a glass thing. So it's not harming it. It can handle it. And it's off. So when it's on the coffee machine, it's on low heat. Like the coffee machine probably puts out on low heat as 1. That's how it does. I'm gonna turn that off. It doesn't need to be on. The coffee's ready. It's winter time now. It is Wednesday, January 15, 2025. Winter solstice, the shortest day of the year, was on Saturday, December 21, 2024. That was winter solstice, the shortest day of the year. And the earth rotates around the earth rotates around the sun each day. And this is my electric bike. Can't wait. When spring comes back, I'll be able to drive it again. And for the coffee here, we use bottled water, and it's really good. I don't know about this guy. It's off. Coffee, ground bean roasted drip coffee is extra hotter, extra hotter. It's scalding Scott like Tim Hortons coffee. Scalding hot coffee. So I recommend that if you have to do this, don't go higher than medium heat. If you don't go higher than medium heat, your glass won't break. But if you keep it at 1 or 2, you should be okay. Or even minimum, here's what we got. We got, so this coffee you see here. So, bean coffee, ground bean coffee. It's hot. It's unplugged too, so you know what? If I want hot coffee, I got hot coffee here. So put that on here. It just takes 2 minutes to heat up. I can keep this coffee machine off. You know what? I don't think it uses much on hydro. I don't know how many watts it uses. Probably only uses 500 watts, you know, or maybe 1500 watts. I don't know. But this, if you leave it on, there's a little thermostat in there. It turns the element on and off to keep your coffee hot. I find it does keep your coffee pretty hot from time to time. But like I said before, when you first turn it on to brew coffee, it just gets extra hotter. But if you turn this machine off, and then if you turn this coffee machine back on, say an hour and a half later, or 2 hours later, it takes a while for it to heat up. Like I had it running for 15 minutes and the coffee was just warm. But within a half an hour, if you leave this on for 30 minutes, it will get back up to temperature. Your coffee's hot. I find this machine is not as hot as a stove. If you want your coffee to be extra hotter, you take this here and you put this on your stove element, put that on your small element, and it's good. And then to keep your coffee hot, medium, turn it on medium at first to get it warm, you know. Since the coffee's already hot, I would keep it at 1 or even minimum. Set it to minimum and your coffee is going to stay hot. Let's put it on 1, but let's not go higher than 1. Now when you first put your coffee on the stove, don't do what I did. Don't do what I would do. That's a no-no. So medium or even 2. And there you have it. Thanks for watching. That wasn't recording. This is instant coffee, stale coffee. You buy instant coffee at a store, instant coffee stale. Don't blame the food bank. If you get instant coffee from a food bank and your coffee stale, it's not the food bank's or the store's fault. It's just because from time to time instant coffee sits, and that's what causes stale coffee. Stale coffee. Instant stale coffee. Ground bean roasted drip ground bean roasted drip coffee is the better way to go. Good, eh?